Can you get me back into loving Cliftons? Talking to a shoe. Good morning, YouTube. What's up, guys? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. Another day, another running shoe. If you said to me, there's only one shoe that you can wear for the rest of your life for every run, what would it be? I'd probably say the first version of this shoe. Since then, I wore the second version, the third, the fourth, and they all kind of got underwhelming, and they strayed away from the very first version and what it was all about. It was a lightweight, cushioned, extremely cushioned trainer that could do so much. It could go the distance, but it could also do tempo runs. Today, I am running in the Hoka Clifton 7. So I'm hopeful that this will feel as good as the Clifton one did or similar to it, and not like the 2, 3, and 4, but we're gonna see. And I'm running really late, so we're gonna lace these up, we're gonna go to the trail, and we're gonna go for a run. Let's do it.
That I hate this game. You apologize, always say that you're sorry, but why does it feel the same? I used to keep my cool, but when it comes to you, I do whatever you want me to do. I used to keep my cool, but when it comes to you, I always fall head first when I'm with you. I never think before I do. I always fall head first, but believe that I'm the fool when it comes to you. I always fall head first when I'm with you. I never think before I do. I always fall head first, but believe that I'm the fool when it comes to you. Please don't tell me lies, just say what you're thinking. Stop playing all these games. You apologize.
All right, so I'm back from my run, and now we're gonna talk all about the Hoka Clifton 7. Whoops, everybody, I forgot to mention that I did get this shoe from Running Warehouse. However, no one's paying me to make this review. Running Warehouse isn't gonna see it before you do. Hoka's not gonna see it before you do, and I'm just doing it for fun. So with that out of the way, let's get on with the review. As I said earlier, I'm a pretty big Clifton fan. Let me show you. The Clifton 1, the best Clifton there's ever been. The Clifton 1 re-release, not as good. The Clifton 2, really not good. The Clifton 3, better, but still just not as good as the 1. The Clifton 4, I don't even know why they call this a Clifton because it's completely different. I skipped the Clifton 5. I only wear the Clifton 6 for casual wear. And here we are now with the Clifton 7. As much as I just sort of like hated on the line, I really do love Cliftons. Like I said earlier, the Clifton 1 was my favorite shoe of all time. Hoka was making running shoes like the Bondi before the Clifton even came out, but when the Clifton hit the market, it really changed the game. And it brought in this whole new category of running shoes that were lightweight but also max cushioned. And every other major running brand followed suit and tried to kind of mimic what Hoka was doing with the Clifton. And I'll be honest, I don't think anybody does max cushion better than Hoka, and I don't think that there's any max cushion shoe that's really better, truly better than a Clifton. All right, well, let's start with the specs of the Hoka Clifton 7. Now, I didn't get a spec sheet for this shoe, so I'm kind of guessing in terms of what everything is, but so I don't know what the standard weight is for this shoe. But for my size, women's 10.5, this shoe comes in at about 9.1 ounces, which makes me think maybe this shoe is in like the high 7s, low 8s for a standard size, like a women's 7 or 8. From what I gathered online, the shoe has a 5mm drop with 29mm of stack in the heel and 24 in the forefoot. And for me, this shoe runs true to size. The upper of the Clifton 7 is a fairly breathable engineered mesh, and it's also very comfortable. The toe cap design kind of reminds me of the Clifton 5 a little bit. But yes, I was feeling air passing through the material on this upper, regardless of what sock I was wearing, and that's pretty good because it is a little bit thick looking, and it's obviously a little dark, so it might get hot in summer months. I didn't really find it to be too terribly hot. I'll give it a pass in terms of breathability. One thing I will note is that there's a lot of room in this toe box. This shoe is true to size, but I definitely had a lot of room up here, which was actually a good thing. My toes had space. They didn't feel crammed in like a nightclub on a Saturday night, I guess. But I really appreciated that because in a couple of other Clifton versions, everyone was basically saying that the toe box was really narrow. I know that was a problem in the 1, it was a problem for me in the 2, and I think the 3 was okay and maybe the 4, but it's been an issue before and I'm glad that Hoka has fixed it. The laces are flat and thin and stay tied, no problems there. The tongue has just enough padding, and I really liked it because when I slipped my foot into the shoe, the padding laid on the top of my foot and was very comfortable. And it's also gusseted, so it's not sliding around everywhere while you're running. It gives you a nice good lockdown fit through the midfoot of the shoe. And a big plus with this upper for me is there was no heel slippage. Somehow Hoka's figured that out. And of course, as we can see, Hoka's done away with the traditional pull tab, and we have this flare outward that you can pull instead of a pull tab, and that's just kind of how it is. We saw that in the Clifton Edge. It's not the same as a pull tab to me. But while we're on the topic of this back heel area, the heel counter is very sturdy. Held my ankle in place. Lord knows I need that sometimes. Overall, I really like this upper. It's designed more efficiently than the original Clifton, and I can understand that technology has changed, and maybe the Clifton 1's upper wasn't as dialed in as this is. Sure, this is a little bit heavier, maybe a little bit hotter, but I think I like this. Moving on to the midsole of this shoe, you have Hoka's traditional EVA foam, and you have lots of it. I've been out of the Clifton game for a while, and when I put this shoe on and started running, I was reminded exactly why I loved this shoe so much. Every single step just feels like a pillow under your foot. It feels like you're walking on a bunch of marshmallows. What I will say is that I don't feel a ton of response in this shoe, which I don't really think I did in many of the other Cliftons. It's more of just a soft shoe. There is an early stage meta rocker in this shoe, which means it just helps you roll forward in your stride. I think it probably starts back here somewhere. You can see the shoe kind of curves upward, but I didn't really feel it too much in the Clifton 7. I tried to ask myself when I was picking up the pace, especially, do you feel that roll forward? Like, do you feel any kind of help in your stride? And maybe I felt it ever so slightly because I was really overanalyzing it, but it's really subtle in this shoe, which can be a little bit of an issue if you don't really feel any response and you're also not feeling that meta rocker. You might not feel like you're getting a ton of assistance. For me, it wasn't a big deal. This would mostly be an easy day shoe for me, and I don't really need too much help when running on easy days, but it's just something that I wanted to point out. Regardless, if you're looking for plush, you're gonna find it in the Clifton 7. Nobody does plush better than Hoka. I said it before, I'll say it again. Say it louder for the people in the back. You want plush? Here you go. Here. Take it. I am curious to see how this midsole holds up over time. I'm not so much worried about the upper. I feel like that will be pretty durable. But the midsole, of course, as we know, if you've been in Cliftons before, it can crease and kind of, what do they call this? Compress, there you go. It can kind of compress over time and it starts to feel a little firmer than when you first take it out of the box. But it feels more resilient than those earlier versions, and I think we're gonna get a lot of miles out of this shoe. If you turn the shoe over, you'll see that Hoka has rubber in the forefoot and in the heel for some extra protection, but we do have some exposed EVA material in the midfoot. Now, because of this early stage meta rocker, I don't think we really need a ton, if any rubber in the midfoot because you're mostly going to be striking on your forefoot. Hoka sees an opportunity to cut down on weight here and lose rubber in that area, and I'm all for it. The rubber that is on this outsole is sticky and grips onto pavement pretty well. It was mostly dry when I ran with this shoe, but I did hit some wet patches due to sprinklers, and I didn't have any problems with grip. On that midfoot area, I am seeing some fraying like I do in all of my Cliftons, but I think the majority of it is cosmetic. The rubber in the forefoot and the heel seem to be holding up fine. I'm curious to see how the outsole will fare over time. I guess we'll just have to see. Another thing I'd like to point out about the Clifton 7, and I'm not sure whether to put this in the upper, midsole, or outsole category, is that I think it's pretty stable, and I have a feeling it contributes to all of these things combined. This is by no means a stability shoe. If you're looking for a stability shoe, if you need a stability shoe, the Clifton 7 might not be your best bet, but I did find this to be a lot more stable underfoot than a lot of the other shoes that I've tried recently. Except for the Clifton Edge, that was also pretty stable. I believe the Hoka Clifton 7 will be releasing in August and at a price point of $130. So they're not out yet, but just hang tight because they're coming. Once these are available, I'll link them down in the description below and you can pick up your own pair. But for now, I'll link you to the Clifton 6 down below because that shoe is pretty good as well, so I've heard. I mean, I walk in it and it feels really comfortable. Running Warehouse has them for like 20% off right now, so you really don't want to miss it. So go to the link in the description of this video, click it, pick up your own pair of the 6 at a discounted price. I mean, come on. It is an affiliate link, which doesn't mean much for you, but it just helps out my channel so I can hold up these two shoes like phones in front of my ears and talk to you guys. Hey, huh? So did the Clifton 7 make me excited about running in Cliftons again? The answer is yes. Yes, it did. I love this shoe. I can't wait to put more miles in it. I can't wait to take it to 50 miles. Please be patient. We will get there. And I might be back in love. Well, guys, that concludes my first run impressions of the Hoka Clifton 7. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit that notifications bell down below so you can find out every time I upload a brand spanking new video. Yay! I have another video for you guys next week, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like heller. See you next time. What do you think of this? What do you think of this shoe? A yes or a no? A yes or a no. It's a simple question.
Seems like yes. Do you love it?